programs that I know and love.
Your vehicle can power programming. Visit jazz88.fm/support.
88.5 KBEM FM Minneapolis St. Paul and Jazz88.fm, a listener-supported service of Minneapolis Public Schools.
So, Dylan.
Yeah.
Last night I saw Stanley Clark perform. You're familiar, I'm sure.
Sure, of course. Yeah, School Days. That was a...
and I really wanted to hear School Days. I wanted my brother to hear him play that live, but he didn't hit it.
Okay, sure.
I mean, this was the second set, so maybe he did
probably played it a lot.
early. Yeah, he played a lot the last two nights. Like I say, never sleep on a living legend, right?
Yeah.
And it was really fantastic. He did a version of Goodbye Pork Pie Hat, which he had recorded in 1988, as you can tell by the excessive drum machine on this version.
It's a very period production, yeah.
Are you hip to the If This Bass Could Only Talk record?
No, not really. I do remember the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the type of guy that would kind of remember some records mainly by the cover, and then
did a lot of
maybe a
flipping
tune.
through the records.
You might know what single was on it from the sticker on the front.
I worked in record stores too for about 8 years.
Yeah,
so, a lot of those.
Anyhow, I mean, this is a cool version, but it's very 80s. To hear him perform it now with an incredible drummer whose name I didn't catch. Okay. It was a real treat, and really kind of a nice summer memory for me to see some music in downtown Minneapolis. So thought we'd start the show off with that here tonight on the Jazz Impulse. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all golden. Say something.
Well, I've been saying
There we go. Okay, now I know what mic you're on. We're doing it on the fly because that's what we do every Saturday, 7 to 10 here on Jazz88. My name is Danny Sigelman. I am joined by my good friend Dylan Hicks tonight. It's about time I've had you on here. I've been thinking about it for a while, but then I saw you had a new record.
Sure, yeah.
And we've been playing that and digging that a lot. How's that been going for you, the reception from the new record, Modern Flora?
Right, yeah. Well, it's been warm so far. The record isn't available on the streaming sites until Monday, so I guess we're still a few...
Oh.
I mean, I've been sending it out.
I've had the exclusive, huh?
Yeah. But so, I mean, so far reception hasn't been extensive. I mean, not that, I'll be able to keep up with the mail.
Your family still talks to you. No, it's very cool. And, I've known Dylan for years as more kind of a pop. What was your elevator speech kind of when you started playing music? Rock guy?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm still mainly a pop songwriter. That's kind of how I think of myself. Still, music sounds a bit different now, but we can talk about more about why that is. But yeah, that's still. I was more of a rock and roller when I was in my 20s, but
well, that wasn't so long ago.
No, well,
but it's very cool to have Dylan here on the show tonight. He's going to hang out with us, and being friends for so long, I know what type of music Dylan gets into and how much he kind of knows about it. So I was excited to kind of have you help me do the DJ shift here tonight.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. It's been fun. I was on KFAI as a teenager. I did a jazz show there, then a hip hop show, and then kind of a variety show. That's also where I met my wife of many years, Nina Hale.
Oh,
we
very
were both
cool.
volunteers there as young people. So anyway, I just I miss radio, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, it's good to have you on. So one thing we do here on the Jazz Impulse, I think, talking about jazz, especially some of the legendary figures like Stanley Clark. I know Dylan brought in a ton of records tonight.
I thought the show was overnight, all night.
We're going to be here till I said 10. I meant 10 a.m. I'm seeing some Duke Ellington. I'm seeing what else is over there? Archie Shepp. Do we want to give away all the secrets so far?
That's enough of a tease, and then we'll kind of tie it all together.
I mean, this is going to be cool, and I've been wanting to do this on the show for a while, have somebody like you come in and kind of talk about the music, but kind of talking about the here and now and what's happening with music around town, and especially in lieu of the holiday weekend, the state fair going on, a lot of music happening. But I just love the vibe of what you brought in, and I thought we'd kind of go to something. Ethan Iverson is performing at Crooners tonight. Yeah. Boomers. No, he's at Crooners tonight, and I just thought this was a really cool lineup that he has. And he did a tribute record to Bud Powell. When was this? A couple of years back?
I think it was after COVID. I don't know this record. I've been following his last two trio records pretty well. And
Yeah.
tonight he's with Anthony Cox, right? In Ken
Anthony
Washington.
Cox, that's who.
Yeah,
And
that'll be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. So that's something to do tonight. I think we'll jump into his tribute here, and then we'll go to some records that Dylan brought us, and we got to play some of Modern Flora later on.
Oh, for
tonight,
sure.
too.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you'd just kind of recite all the lyrics.
Oh, I'm not prepared to do that. I think. Yeah, somehow I can sing them, but not remember them.
It's Ethan Iverson here on the Jazz Impulse. This is Jazz88. You are listening to the Jazz Impulse and Archie Shepp. The tune was There Is a Balm in Gilead, 1969. Before that, Duke Ellington with Alice Babs. Was that Alice Babs on that one?
Yes.
You said? And the tune Heaven here. And we started off with Ethan Iverson, a tribute of his own to Bud Powell. He's performing tonight at Crooners. And this is the Jazz Impulse. My name is Danny Sigelman. Always excited to be with you every Saturday, the soundtrack to your Saturday night. Joined here by Dylan Hicks. Man, that was smoking. You know, I was listening to those tunes. Number one, very chill for the show, but I like that. It's kind of one of those summer nights. But, you know, if you're tuning in now and saying, Danny, where's the disco jazz?
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
That'll come. No, it's not. I'm digging it. I like easing in that way. And what I wanted to say is that I can kind of see the influence in a lot of these tunes on your new record. So I think it kind of comes together a little bit that way. Tell us tell us the feelings of these tunes. It sounds like they're really important to you.
Well, I don't know if these directly informed what we did in the record, but they are favorite recordings of mine. Mm-hmm. So the Heaven is a tune that Ellington wrote in '68, part of his Sacred series of concerts. And as you say, Alice Babs is the featured vocalist, a great Scandinavian vocalist who used to be, one of her tunes was featured every week on Lake Hammon's show, Jazz Show on NPR.
Oh, really?
So that was when I first heard her beautiful voice when I was a teenager and listening to that. Mm-hmm. Love that piece, Heaven. I think it's one of Ellington's most beautiful of his late pieces. And then in that same spiritual realm and from the same period, just a year later, from '68 to '69, that was a Archie Shepp recording, and the band is amazing. That's Lester Bowie on trumpet, and the vocalist is Jean Lee, and she was a really idiosyncratic and innovative and just wonderful, beautiful vocal tone, interpretive genius. And she made a record about in the early '60s with Ron Blake, who was a great experimental jazz piano player. He, as a very young man, he kind of sought Thelonious Monk's company, and I believe, according to Robin Morgan's biography, I think he was present shortly after there was a terrible fire in the Monk household. I may have that wrong, but he was, an acolyte, and he was able to spend some time. Anyway, a great piano player and composer. They made this duo record in the early '60s, a vocal piano duo, very, very strange interpretations of spirituals, of standards, and some of Ron Blake's tunes. So let's go to one of those. This is another recording from Jean Lee.
Then the tears begin to fall. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, love is gone, so what can matter? No sweet lover man comes to call. When Sunny gets blue, she breathes the sigh of sadness, like the wind that stirs the tree. Wind that starts the leaves a-swaying, like some violins were playing, weird and haunting melodies. People used to love to hear her laugh, see her smile. That's how she got her name. Since that sad affair, she's lost her smile, changed her style. Somehow she's not the same. But memories will fade, pretty dreams will rise up where the other dream fell through. So hurry, new love, hurry here. wash away each lonely tear and hold her near when Sunny gets blue. But memories will fade and pretty dreams will rise up where the other dream fell through. So hurry, new love, hurry here and hold her near when Sunny gets blue.
Programming on Jazz 88 is supported by the 10,000 Lakes Concours d'Elegance Auto Extravaganza, taking place on Canterbury Park's grassy infield on Sunday, September 15th. Wander amongst 150 historically significant cars, showcasing the automotive craftsmanship and design since 1900. Enjoy food, live music, a cigar lounge, pony rides, and more. Proceeds benefit Gillette Children's Health Care, and kids 16 and under are free. Tickets available at www.10,000lakesconcours.com.
Support for Jazz 88 comes from Walker West Music Academy, presenting, in partnership with Jazz 88, the 2024 Selby Avenue Jazz Fest. A full day of live music from Jamesia Bennett, L.A. Buckner and Big Homie, Ashley DeBose, and more. With kids' activities, food, and art vendors, there's something for everyone. Saturday, September 14th at Selby Avenue and Milton Street in St. Paul. More information at selbyavjazzfest.com.
Jazz 88 and the Jazz Impulse tonight. My friend Dylan Hicks here. Danny Sigelman at the steering wheel. And that was Jackie Bayard. Sorry, there you go. Jackie, I can never pronounce.
Jackie Bayard, yeah.
Bayard, okay.
Yeah.
I always want to say Bjard. So we're getting into a little Stevie Wonder tribute here. And
Yeah, we're still going with that, too.
Yeah, and something I've noticed around here at Jazz 88 is probably that Stevie Wonder is the composer songwriter that you hear the most on jazz radio.
Oh, interesting.
It kind of ends up that way.
Okay.
Definitely. Paid tribute in every genre, really, but especially the jazz world. And, Stevie is pretty much a straight up jazz player anyway.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. This last tune we heard, because the Jackie Bayard is one of my very favorite piano players, and he had this facility with pretty much every style in jazz history, from early stride stuff to post-bop and avant-garde things. And he was at Boston. He played with Booker Ervin's great quartet with Alan Dawson and Richard Davis, the great bass player. A lot of people know from the Van Morrison Astral Weeks record, but also sorts of jazz records, of course, too. Anyway, he made these records for Soul Note, which was an Italian label active in the 70s, 80s, along with Black Saint. Great. Kind of the Blue Note of that period, I think. The great, like the one you just, if it was a Black Saint or Soul Note record, probably try it. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And
dependable.
Yeah. Anyway, he did on this record, in addition to his own tunes, he does like Ode to Billy Joe, the Bobby Gentry tune, and the Stevie Wonder tune. What's interesting is that a lot of people, they play a Stevie Wonder tune, they'll say, because I love Stevie Wonder as a composer and I'm paying tribute. In the very liner notes, he says, I really hate this music, but my son really, he was born in he was not a young man at this time.
This is what the kids were listening to.
Yeah, his son was 19, so I love Stevie Wonder. Can you play this tune? He said, sure, I can play it. And then a student asked it. I think he was wrong about his estimation of Stevie Wonder's, brilliant music. But what I love about it is that he plays it with such ingenuity and he plays it so beautifully, and he really does not like the material. And it just goes to show that you really can get into a tune even if you don't hold a lot of respect for it.
Yeah.
And I'm always amazed by that. And he just did that and made it its own.
He delivers the goods, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we played Ethan Iverson earlier. He's kind of famous for playing with the Bad Plus and some songs and music that he wasn't really necessarily familiar with
before they added him from the repertoire. That's right.
So it does take a very skilled and maybe thoughtful and maybe sensitive player to be able to kind of encompass the music that way.
Interesting.
Very impressive.
That's a good connection. Yeah, I
version of that.
Yeah.
I was trying to think other people that we'll get into it, but what songs do you dislike that you kind of still have an appreciation for? I don't know. We'll think about it.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
But
I've played covers of tunes I didn't particularly like, if they were requested. But it is. I'd like to play music even if I don't. Anyway,
yeah.
We heard another Stevie Wonder tune before that, right?
Yeah, we did. We did Grant Green and his version, 1971. We heard. What was it?
You were telling me.
I just lost it. If You Really Love Me.
Okay. Yeah.
You threw me off.
Is that a Grant Green record you like, a favorite of yours?
I think they're all good.
Yeah, they are.
Grant Green's one of those artists, kind of like the Ventures, that never made any bad records, or Ray Charles, Willie Nelson.
Sure. Yeah. The Ventures wouldn't be the first thing that came to mind.
It's always the first thing when they're
probably not going to surprise you too much.
There's a Ventures record I've never seen before. It's gonna be good.
Give it a shot. Yeah. Okay.
Ramsey Lewis, I would say.
Okay.
And then we started with Dave Burrell. His version of Giant Steps.
Yeah. Can I talk a bit about that?
Yeah, let's hear what was the story with that one?
Well, okay,
a lot of solo piano here tonight.
Yeah,
I'm digging that.
Thank you. I mean, I love solo piano records and piano trio records. I don't think I'll have a lot more to play.
Well, being a pianist, I can see that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I do take inspiration from brilliant piano players like this. I can't do a lot, compared to what these people can do.
Fake it till you make it, man.
Yeah, well, it's probably not this. I'm not going to make this, at least. But anyway, Dave Burrell is kind of an underrated jazz pianist. Another person who had a real wide command of style. So he was on that Archie Shepp recording we heard, 20 minutes ago of the spiritual. There's a Balm in Gilead, and. Oh, some boss is calling.
You're
me.
blowing up, man. People are like,
I can't talk right now.
Should we take their call on the air?
Well, it's my son. He forgot that.
Yeah. But you were saying.
Oh my gosh.
Dave Burrell. So any relation to Kenny Burrell?
No, it's just
No?
a coincidence.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh yeah. So he did this record called the Jelly Roll Joys.
Okay.
It's a solo piano record from the early 90s, 91. And it's mostly interpretations of Jelly Roll Morton tunes. But he also, on this record and in his performances during this period, would do like bop tunes and post-bop tunes in a style like a stride and really drawing on Jelly Roll Morton technique. So we heard Giant Steps, the famous Coltrane tune, which is always such a challenge to play in any style.
Yeah.
You heard him rip through that, not only navigating the changes brilliantly, but then also giving it this influence from Jelly Roll Morton, which he studied so deeply. I love this record. It's called The Jelly Roll Joys by Dave Burrell.
Well, you know, that tune is such a propulsive rhythm. I think it, you know, it lends itself to being played on solo piano somewhat, you think?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Especially
I mean,
in this
actually,
case.
there's another, I love the, there's a Tommy Flanagan came back to it. You know, he's the piano player in the original record and kind of famously was a little bit thrown because it's a really a lot of changes and you're really fast. And he was, I think the Coltrane brought it to that session that day. He does a great version later that I love too. That's one of my favorites.
Very cool. This is the Jazz Impulse here on Jazz 88. My friend Dylan Hicks joining me. Danny Sigelman at the steering wheel tonight. So much music. And we're going to do one more Stevie Wonder tribute.
Oh, yeah.
But we're, you know, in that R&B vein, we're going to get into some funkiness too.
Yeah, too,
tonight.
right. Yeah. This one just, it kind of springs from the stuff we've been talking about, the Jackie Byard and stuff. So this is Sullivan Fortner. Some of you may have seen him play at the Dakota with Cecile McLaurin-Salvant. He's a frequent collaborator with her and often her accompanist. Also his own, he leads his own records. And another person who is really just, he kind of plays in all styles. And I mean, I'm just in awe of him.
Yeah.
And this version of, you'll recognize, this is Don't You Worry About a Thing, a very famous Stevie Wonder tune, so I think a lot of people will recognize the melody, and you can kind of get into what he's doing with that melody and harmony, and just listen to the drive of the groove of this on solo piano.
And where's Sullivan from? Do you know?
Well, he lives in New York City.
Yeah.
I don't know if he hails from there or not.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll go
afraid I
down that
don't remember
wormhole
that part.
sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
There are some cool interviews online with him, though.
Oh, awesome. So we're going to hear that. Don't You Worry About a Thing. Sullivan Fortner. It's here on Jazz 88.
The Jazz Impulse with weekly host Danny Sigelman traverses the sonic landscape that is the soundtrack to your Saturday night
Why they can put the competition to bed without supper.
on Jazz88.
Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen while the day world is sleeping. Night people creeping, hanging out, looking at each other. When the day will stop moving, and night people start grooving, hanging out, looking at each other, while the day will lay hanging, and night people start swinging, hanging out, looking for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. We can't have one kind without the other. We got to keep the world alive. If everybody went to sleep at the same time every night, the world would die, die, die. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen while the day was harder. Night people party, hanging out, looking at each other. When the day beats stop humming, and night people start coming, hanging out, looking at each other. And the day will go down, night people doing fine, hanging out, looking at each other. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Gotta see who's with who's with me, who's with you. Hanging out, looking at each other. Gotta see what you're wearing, what you got, what you're sharing. Basement. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, they're waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other.
When addiction takes hold, it's easy to feel like no one can help. But you're not in this alone. For 75 years, Hazelden Betty Ford has been at the forefront of addiction and mental health care, evolving treatment, reimagining recovery, and breaking through barriers to help families everywhere find healing. So please reach out at 855-489-2383. Help is here. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation and aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's Sean. I hope you are enjoying your holiday weekend, and I hope you can spend your Labor Day tuned in to Jazz 88. We'll be counting down the best 88 and a half jazz songs of all time, starting bright and early at 6 a.m. with Peter Solomon, and I'll take you clear through to 7 p.m. So tune in on Labor Day to count down the best jazz songs of all time on Jazz 88.
Right on, right on. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Jazz Impulse tonight. Danny Sigelman here. I want to let you know about some road concerns in Minneapolis. The ramp from North 35W to go to Hennepin Avenue has the right lane closed on the ramp for construction. And in Maplewood, East 94 is reduced to 2 lanes starting at Century Avenue for MnDOT road work. Of course, the state fair is going on. Expect a lot of traffic in and around St. Paul and Roseville and downtown Minneapolis tonight. Man, I'm afraid to look. Minnesota Twins are getting 12-0 right now. That game should be getting out probably not soon enough, but around 10 o'clock tonight. And look for extra traffic downtown before that. You a big Twins fan, Dylan?
That would probably be overstating things. I have been in the past.
Uh-huh. Well, they need you tonight, man.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's a shellacking.
Looking at weather, lows in the mid-50s for the overnight tonight. Looking at 15-mile-an-hour winds, gusts up to 30 tonight. It's gonna be a windy night in the city. Currently 82 degrees. Looking at sunny Sunday, highs in the lower 70s. Nice and cool weekend for us. Very welcome, since, you know, some of us have to climb stairs with boxes of records. But this is the Jazz Impulse. We have Dylan Hicks with us here tonight. He's kind of our guest DJ, bringing in some incredible stuff. I loved the Lee Dorsey tune we heard there, Night People.
Yeah, that's a great record.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Toussaint, production and arrangement. I think we'll be talking about arrangement later, and he's one of the great R&B arrangers.
Sullivan Fortner started us off. Don't you worry about his version of that. You are listening to 88.5 KBEM FM, Minneapolis and St. Paul. Jazz88.fm on the interweb, a listener-supported service of Minneapolis Public Schools. It's Bobby Womack here on the Jazz Impulse.
Something on your mind you didn't know how to say. I can love you if you keep running away. Doing everything in my power to make you stay. Hey, baby, keep running away. Check it out, see what I'm all about. Tell you about it. It's what I kept feeling inside. I was trying to be a stubborn kind of fella, and I kept holding back my pride. How can we make love with each other? Keep running away, doing everything in power to make you stay. Yeah, baby, got to stop running away. Check me out, see what I'm all about. And you don't have to listen to your friends, cause you'll find out. All you got to do is check it out. Get on down. You have to get up if you wanna get down. I give you my love, and I put it where you want it, but you got to stick around. I'm gonna make love to you if you keep running away. Oh, doing everything in my power to make you stay. Girl, pick it up, let it lay let it lay, let it lay. Wow! Check it out, see what I'm all about. And then your mind, you have no doubt, have no doubt. All you gotta do is check it out.
The Jazz Impulse fills your Saturday night up. Right on Jazz88.
This is Jazz88. The Jazz Impulse tonight. I'm liking those horn stabs, man.
Oh, this is a great record. Yeah, Thad Jones, Mel Lewis, big band.
Yeah, a hunk. What was the name of the record?
The record's called Consummation. It's from about 1970.
And I'm drawing a blank here. Thad was a trombonist?
Well, he was part of the trumpeter, and he was part of that Jones clan.
Okay, yeah.
Includes Hank. Yeah, Jones.
And Elvin?
Yeah, and Detroit. And made some cool records on his own for Blue Note earlier, too.
But him and Mel Lewis were...
And they had a Vanguard gig on Sunday nights for years and years and years and years. It was every Sunday night at the Village Vanguard. That record's got a lot of different kinds of stuff, including that very 1970, funk thing. And even 5/4, if you listen, you count, it's, very groovy. But you got to think about it a little bit, I guess.
It swings pretty hard.
It's
kind of surprised you brought in some big band.
Well, I thought maybe because, this record there's not a big band. This record I made has 9 people. It's not a big band, but it's bigger than any other band I've ever worked with. Yeah.
It's groovy stuff, man. It's here on the Jazz Impulse tonight. Dylan Hicks, my special guest here. Danny Sigelman at the steering wheel. Johnny Little in there before that. I was really digging that.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, he's a vibraphonist. The record called People in Love.
People in Love, yeah. It's from same. I'm not stuck in this period, but we're playing a lot of stuff.
It happens to me all the time.
Yeah, 72, I think it is. But, Tohade is the name of that tune. It was written by the pianist, whose name was Dahoud Hadi. I don't know his work too well. Playing electric piano on that track. Bob Cranshaw's on that.
I noticed that.
Yeah, we probably know him from Sonny Rollins' later years.
Very cool.
Betty Glomman is the harpist on this record. I don't know.
I don't know if I heard a harp on that tune.
Well,
was it on there?
They do like a version of "Where Is the Love?" And People Make the World Go Round. I know she's featured on that.
I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on that record sometime.
I think you'll dig it.
I wasn't hip, so very cool. Bobby Womack started our set off. Check it out here on Jazz 88. This is the Jazz Impulse. We have Twin Cities this week coming up in just a few, and lots of music to play. Dylan, we got to play some of your new record.
Okay, let's get to that
soon.
Yeah,
my special guest, Dylan Hicks, has a new record coming out, and the release show, we should mention, is next weekend.
Yeah, Sunday, September 8th.
Yeah, a week from Sunday. This is like maybe the last jam of the summer kind of vibe.
Oh, or the first of the fall.
Well, yeah, there we go.
I'm not sure. I guess they're probably not the first of the fall.
Whatever you might happen to be if you're a summer person.
Whatever helps you come.
Yeah, and the Parkway in South Minneapolis, that should be fun. Yeah. And we'll talk about the new record, Modern Flora, in just a bit.
Okay.
But we're going to get to another tune, and this is perfect. What tune did we queue up here?
Well, this is
Anna Buttress.
Yeah, or is it Butters? I haven't heard her name spoken.
Oh, okay.
And but anyway, she's a bassist. I think she's I should have done. I think she's an Australian.
Yeah.
She in addition to this record, this is called Activities. It's on the Colorfield label, which is a really hip label out of L.A. Pete Min runs it, and they do lots of cool production that kind of mixes jazz, improvised music,
this is more of a modern,
hip-hop.
modern performer.
Totally. And I think she might be the bassist for Phoebe Bridgers' touring band. She does some pop work, I know for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really dig this. This tune is really catchy, and I think it's been kind of like an algorithmic success.
Sure.
It keeps getting suggested. I've had this record for a while, and then it was getting suggested to me by one of the evil streaming sites.
No, I think they're pretty legit. They're usually right. But yeah, let's have check out a tune from Activities. And what tune was this?
Doo-Wop is the name of the tune. Yeah.
Anna Butters. It's here on Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse.
in to the Jazz Impulse tonight, as I'll be joined by my special guest, Dylan Hicks. Dylan Hicks and Small Screens have a brand new release, Modern Flora, and Dylan will be joining me tonight on the Jazz Impulse to tell us all about it. That's the Jazz Impulse tonight, 7 to 10 on Jazz 88. Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival 25 is Labor Day at Minnehaha Falls in Minneapolis. It's the local Twin Cities Bluegrass Festival that seems to mark summer's end. The 25th annual Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival will be held from 1 to 7 p.m. at Minnehaha Falls in Minneapolis on Labor Day. The free event presents 6 bluegrass bands in a relaxed atmosphere. Matt Johnson, co-producer of the event, spoke with Phil Nussbaum about the Laughing Waters Festival and first addressed how performing bands are selected.
Little bird up in that tree so high, why do you want to fly? Is it to get away?
As far as selecting bands and coming up and getting a good mix is kind of what I'm looking for, and the entertainers and trying to mix it up. So, you know, bluegrass and related and old time music and mostly acoustic music. Mostly trying to select out of this amazing bands that are in the Twin Cities area and surrounding areas.
Well, you've got an artist from southern Minnesota named Nicole Christensen, who's made a really good CD, and I'm really glad that she's going to be a part of this.
Yeah, really excited to have Nicole Christensen come up with it, and she's bringing in some Nashville pickers. She lived down in Nashville with her husband and family for 20-some years, I believe, and met a lot of people and made her album down there, and she's come a long way and moved back home, I think, to Austin, Minnesota, where she is currently, but we're really happy to have her coming up. A very talented, talented musician.
She's also a songwriter, and many of her songs turned up on her CD.
Yeah.
Which one you want to hear?
I think we should play Ramblin' Bird.
I know why the cage bird flies. She's been fed on seeds of lies. Could you get her wings? Ramblin' bird, if she dares to sing. To stay, but I want to go. Rambling birds gotta feel the flow of that wind. Lord, I got to go. Little bird up in that tree so high. Why do you want to fly? Is it to get away? Rambling bird, why don't you want to stay?
Ramblin' Bird from Nicole Christensen, one of the acts at the Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival, 1 to 7 p.m. on Labor Day, and we're speaking with a co-producer of the event, Matt Johnson. You hired Corpse Reviver to come, and one of the more interesting concepts, they redo and really rearrange songs from the Harry Smith collection of American folk music, one of the most, or perhaps the most influential set of reissues of old music from the 20s and 30s that really stimulated the folk revival, and just a who'da thunk it kind of band, in my opinion.
Corpse Reviver, Adam Kiesling and Mikkel Beckman and Jillian Ray, is a three-piece, and they just do amazing things. And Adam putting his own spin on these songs and keeping the traditions alive, going from the Harry Smith anthology. It's just great stuff with the with the rhythm and Jillian on the amazing fiddle, Adam's playing guitar and banjo and fretless banjo, which you just don't hear too often that nowadays.
They don't try to copy the old recordings. They give their own spins.
They sure do, and they spin out real nice. I think Adam Kiesling is just a national treasure, and we're happy to have him around.
Which Corpse Reviver song would you like to hear right now?
I think we should play Minglewood Blues.
Don't you let one woman rule and where you're mine. Don't you let one woman rule and where you're mine. She will leave you troubled all the time. Yeah, I got me a letter, mama, you ought to heard it read. Yes, I got me a letter, mama, you ought to heard it read. Saying, come home, daddy, come back to your bed.
A little bit of Corpse Reviver right there in the Minglewood Blues, and we're talking about the Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival taking place at Minnehaha Falls on Labor Day from 1 to 7 p.m. And it's on Facebook if you'd like to look it up. Gentlemen Dreadnought, you are bringing in a 2-guitar act.
That is the truth right there. I do believe that Derek might bust out his mandolin sometimes, but it's probably they're both amazing guitar players and flat pickers. And Clint Burser has, I believe, won at least once or twice the Minnesota flat picking competition held at the State Fair. Just both amazing pickers and really great harmonies going on. That's why we brought him in.
I've been running down that road forever, underneath the burning sky, taking chances on cheap romances with them women that'll rob you blind. I've been losing track, but now I'm getting back to some air that I can breathe. Gonna run up north to the water and let the water run over me.
This event, the Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival, has become, an expected event. All year round, people come up to me and want to talk about the Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival. They don't always say that they want to talk about the Laughing Waters. They say, that thing on Labor Day, that thing on September. It kind of summarizes, the summer in a good way and points to our best month in Minnesota, September. Isn't this amazing to be connected with?
It's a great thing. I just love this festival. For one thing, it's free for the public. It's open to anyone, and the community that comes around out of Minneapolis and around is really, it's all about the people, and it's a great time. People from every walk of life are there and having a good time. We have some food trucks going on, 4 food trucks with Americana barbecue and Tibetan dumplings and Indian street food and ice cream from the Grand Oak Creamery as well. We're calling it the 25th annual because Alan Jesperson started it back in 1999, so we'll call it the 25th.
For information about this Labor Day event, the Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival is on Facebook. Lawn chairs are recommended. This program is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Phil Nussbaum speaking.
I'm gonna run up north to the water and let the water run over me.
Be sure you join us Sunday nights at 8 for some really great music on Sinatra and Friends. Frank, Ella, Tony, and a host of other great American songbook singers, along with some of the best bands ever. That's Sunday nights at 8, exclusively here on Jazz 88.
this a high record label?
You know, I'm not totally sure.
I have one of his records at home.
Yeah. It's a longer tune.
Yeah.
You know, Syl Johnson.
Are we talking in the air?
We're talking, man. Yeah. That's how it works, man. That's how we do it.
Well, we're so natural. I thought we were just talking.
Yeah, you know, so Syl Johnson, you know, I'm trying to remember his history. He's still, no, he's not alive anymore.
Okay,
He's still very active. No, but there's a great documentary on him.
Cool.
So definitely worth visiting if you're not hipped to the magical.
I have a cool compilation of his work. I think he was one of the High Records acts.
Yeah, he was born in Mississippi. So that High Records, Twilight Records. Very cool.
A lot of stuff. Okay, great.
Right on. And this is the Jazz Impulse. Danny Sigelman, your host. I have Dylan Hicks with me tonight. We're having a really good time playing some music here. Dylan brought a ton of records. I always have a lot of... The record bag overfloweth, as we like to say, every Saturday from 7 to 10 here on Jazz88. And Dylan has a new record. You've been kind of sheepish about sharing, but talking about the record. You want to play everybody else's records tonight.
Sheepish or just generous of spirit, I guess. But yeah, we do have a new record called Modern Flora.
So I want to know, Dylan Hicks and the small screens is a different project than maybe what you normally perform.
Yeah, I mean,
or you go through different phases with different combos, or
yeah, I guess so. So I have a couple different ongoing projects. I have my collaboration with John Munson Hicks Party Supplies, and that's a different repertoire, somewhat a little bit shorter, maybe a little more rock R&B. It's still not terribly rocking, but it's a little bit.
You get funky.
Well, we try to a little bit, and then this group is it can kind of accommodate different stuff that I write, but it is a larger group. The core group are 6 of us, and then with this record we have 9 people. It's a nonette, and this record it's my singer-songwriter kind of stuff in part, and then what happened is that I wrote the tunes and then kind of sketched out arrangements for the group, but kind of sort of draft arrangements, kind of rough drafts, and then turn those over to other people in the group, like Christopher Thompson and Zach Harris, tenor saxophonist and reed player, Chris, and then Zach the guitarist, and then J.C. Sanford, who's a great trombonist and arranger, and composer. They're all composers. And so some of the arrangements, about 4 of the arrangements were done by those folks, and they really brought the arrangements that we hear on the record.
Yeah.
And that we'll play.
And how would definitely a modern jazz record overall, I would say. How do you think of it?
Yeah,
do you
interesting.
Think this as pop songs?
I think of it as a pop record, but kind of an exploratory pop record. I mean, I'm a little bit self-conscious about saying it's a jazz record because, I'm not myself a jazz musician. I don't have that kind of, a training or
chops.
I don't have those chops either. Just trying to be a little more grilling.
No, but I mean,
very much so. Yeah.
However, I do feel it falls into the jazz composition kind of category.
Well, I mean, in some ways, I would say that I'm still thinking really of writing songs. Some of it's instrumental, but it probably has kind of it feels a little song-like, and I think I'm definitely informed by jazz harmony as a lifelong jazz fan. But I think a jazz player would look at the charts and be like, "It's a pop record, right?" You know what I mean? It has certain harmonic and melodic kind of tendencies that I think are a little more in that realm. But the other players, like Michelle Kinney, she's a
cellist.
Avant-garde, cellist. She's an avant-garde composer of her own. She does new music, plays in pop stuff, and then in some free improvised stuff, other improvised music and jazz stuff. A lot of the players are mainly rooted in jazz. So their contributions as improvisers, as players, interpreters, and then as arrangers, it does create this kind of hybrid thing, which I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah, the new record is called Modern Flora. We're going to hear a tune, Unicellular Spore. What can you tell us about that?
Well, it's not heavy into the science of that, but I was really I was looking for something very, very small as well as things that are very, very large. So you'll hear in the lyric, it's kind of a relationship song, but maybe a little bit elliptical.
Very cool. It's Dylan Hicks and Small Screens here on the Jazz Impulse.
sailed on the highway under my dodge. The pine needle trail that wrapped around the hillside led to your ancestral lodge. Oh, and you were the breeze through my window, the dust on the blades of my fan, the rain on the rail of my Grand Canyon snapshot, the shadow on my CT scan. Oh, and you were the tireless roofer, pounding in shingles next door, the massive orange star that ruddled my bald spot, the unicellular spore, the unicellular spore, oh, the unicellular spore, the unicellular spore. Snowflake on velvet, but I felt like Pete Townshend's guitar. The day-breaking hiss of a flattened bike tire, the clang on that old trolley car. Oh, and I was a post T-ball juice box, later the whiskey and dough. I, the pragmatic, documentarian, green lighting, postscript of hope. Oh, and I was a tireless roofer, pounding in shingles next door, the massive orange star that melted your ice cream, the unicellular spore, the unicellular spore, I mean the unicellular spore, the unicellular spore. Unicellular spore, the unicellular spore, I mean the unicellular spore, the unicellular spore.
Feeling the pulse of the Twin Cities, the Jazz Impulse on Jazz 88.
All I want
You're listening to Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse. We just heard Aaron Frazier and the tune Dime. That's from his Into the Blue record. One of my favorite records of the year. I feel like a little undersung, but if you were to pick a jam of the summer, I think that was it for me. Do you have a jam of the summer, Dylan?
Oh. Probably not. Although for the first time in several years, I liked a couple of big radio hits. I mean, not because the radio hits weren't good before, I just haven't been tuned in.
What was your favorite radio hit?
I like Billie Eilish's song Lunch. It's
pretty good jam.
I love it, yeah. And I kind of like the Chappelle Roan tune, and I like that most recent Hozier tune, which has kind of R&B groove.
Did you just call me a Hozier?
Is that how he pronounces his name? It is, right?
Jazz 88 here, looking at some Twin Cities. You know, the Twins game is finally over. Dylan, did you hear what happened?
Well, I heard it was. I heard it was a
shellacking
blowout. Yeah,
15-0, man.
Wow.
Thankfully, they lost to some Canadians who are generally pretty polite about that kind of stuff, I think.
Okay, I'm not going to get involved in that. Really, I'm trying to reach out, expand my audience.
In any case, looking at some Twin Cities weather, there is some traffic in downtown Minneapolis as the Twins game gets out. Of course, the State Fair is happening. Lots of traffic in St. Paul. And I was trying to find...
Could be some angry motorists, too, if the Twins lost that bad.
You know, unfortunately, that might be the case. Currently looking at weather. Lows in the mid-50s tonight. Clear skies. Gusts of wind 30 miles an hour early tonight. So it's a windy night. Maybe that's why they lost. It was just wreaking havoc on the baseball. Currently 77 degrees in the Twin Cities. Looking at a sunny Sunday tomorrow. Highs in the lower 70s. And you were listening to 88.5 KBEM FM, Minneapolis and St. Paul. Jazz88.fm, a listener-supported service of Minneapolis Public Schools. This is the Jazz Impulse, soundtrack to your Saturday night, 7 to 10 every Saturday. We heard a track from Dylan Hicks himself, our special guest tonight. That was a Unicellular Spore. Very cool. I'm excited about your new record, Dylan Hicks and Small Screens, and they'll be celebrating the release of that next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, at the Parkway Theater. And you're going to have all the musicians that performed on the record?
Yeah, we'll have the whole no-net version of our group.
Okay.
There. And we'll play some tunes as a 6-piece, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we'll mix them in.
Any solo?
I don't have plans to play solo, but if there's even a hint of a demand for an encore, I can come out and play solo.
There we go. You heard it here first. Speaking of no-nets, we're going to get into some no-nets this hour, it being 9 o'clock and whatnot.
Yeah, that works, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, see, it all comes together.
Well, that's a professional DJ for you. I didn't think of that.
It just happens. And it's all happening here on the Jazz Impulse right after this.
The Jazz 88 Business Circle is a community of businesses and organizations who support our mission of jazz and education while expanding their reach with our devoted listeners. Members include the Capri Theater, RLC Jazz, Theater in the Round, the Women's Club of Minneapolis, and the Walker Art Center. Find more information about our Business Circle members and how to join at jazz88.fm.
High interest rates and a shortage of listings have made the prospect of owning a home a big challenge for Minnesotans. Help is available from LSS Financial Counseling. Their HUD-certified housing counselors can offer guidance to organize your finances and walk you through the home buying process. To speak with an LSS HUD-certified counselor, call 888-577-2227 or visit lssfinancialcounseling.org/homeownership.
On the next Jazz Night in America, we get to know Sarah Hanahan, one of the rising stars of the alto saxophone. I'm Christian McBride.
Tonight at 10. Small-town agonist, for whom exactness is that which hair is flesh to. He influences her to suit his character.
Clear vacancy, clear, everything's alright. Clear, everything's just fine. The doctor's here and they're getting their heads back in.
Nurses dyeing their hair don't care if the horse is locked, the house still there. It doesn't seem to matter to them. The traces of horses on pineapple and cheese, so many ingredients in the soup. No.
And you were listening to Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse soundtrack to your Saturday night. I'm digging it. My friend Dylan Hicks here brought in some really fun records. Carla Bley, I don't know if I call that fun necessarily, but
it's an amazing record. Escalator Over the Hill. It was a triple album set during the era when that happened once in a while on her own label, Watt Records, and it's this whole complicated, operatic suite. But the personnel on this record is amazing. You may have recognized the woman singing lead on that last tune, Linda Ronstadt, a very young Linda Ronstadt before fame.
Man.
In addition to people like Charlie Hayden and all sorts of jazz heavyweights, there's people like Terry Adams from NRBQ. Just her whole sensibility.
Yeah.
And that is a nonette too on that track. It's a different personnel on the record, but kind of keeps with our theme.
Yeah, we're doing nonettes during the 9 o'clock hour here on the Jazz Impulse.
Right, yeah.
I say, people always ask me, do you get to play whatever you want on the Jazz? On Jazz
Not tonight,
88?
you don't. No.
No, but the truth is, if I did get to play whatever I want, it would be only Linda Ronstadt.
I love her.
All night, yeah. So that's really cool. I didn't know about that. That's pre-fame, like you said. So it's kind of, was she part of
It's kind of one of those things too, where how I like a lot of I've always, since I was a kid, I've always liked a lot of pop stars who aren't who were, at least weren't at the time not terribly fashionable, like Linda Ronstadt or Phil Collins or something like that. Always pulls, or like Daryl Hall. Oh, but Daryl Hall is on this this Robert Fripp record, or Linda Ronstadt's on this Carla Bley record. It was kind of like the thing you pull out to okay, I guess it's all right then.
Kind of like when Kiss had Lou Reed on one of their records.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think maybe that was trying to give themselves a little more credibility. But that was very cool. Doing the nonettes tonight. Lee Konitz before that did April. And that was another nonette. What era was that?
It was late 70s. So this was probably I used to, as I say, was a volunteer at this is kind of a
I love that cover.
Chiaroscuro Records. Yeah, they put out some pretty hip records around that time. Short-lived label. And this is probably when I was introduced to that word.
Mm-hmm. The nonette.
Yeah. I was at KFAI, and because he had a record called the No Nonette. No Nonette, playing a pun on the musical No Nonette. Nonette. This is a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lee also was in the part of the birth of the Cool sessions, Miles Davis's famous sessions.
Yeah.
And that's a nonette too. Miles led the group, but the arrangements were collaborative. There was Jerry Mulligan arrangements, Gil Evans, a lot of heavyweights involved in that. So we heard a Mulligan tune called Rocker, which he recorded a bunch of times. And then in the middle there, we heard McCoy Tyner.
That was great.
Yeah, that's one of his
Stolen Moments record.
Tender Moments. Yeah,
Tender Moments. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a no-net too.
That's a repress, isn't it?
It's one of those. This is
It's
is
cool.
one I shelled out for one of the Kevin Gray.
Oh yeah, tone poems or whatever they call it.
Something like that.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, geez, McCoy Tyner,
Great personality
incredible.
on this record, too,
And we
yeah.
started it off with Miles Davis.
Yeah.
and was that originally from The Birth of the Cool? That was like a compilation you played.
Well, yeah, I mean it's from before the LP era. So when they started making LPs, they started usually calling it Birth of the Cool. It wasn't called.
You mean
that.
you don't have the original 78?
I don't have those.
No.
Well, I do, of course, but we wouldn't be able to play them on this turntable.
Yeah, that's true. Very cool. I have Dylan Hicks here on the Jazz Impulse tonight. Danny Sigelman, your host, and we're still cooking here, man. We're having a really good time playing some music.
I really appreciate, I'm having a great time. I really appreciate you letting me bring in so much stuff.
No,
It's
man,
awesome.
it's been years since we've DJ'd together, so I was really excited about that, but I knew you'd bring in some really cool stuff. And are we still in the no-net category then?
Well, we probably should move on before we run out of time because I do want to play some if you'll indulge me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't mind playing some
contemporary jazz.
Well, I was going to say because some contemporary sort of big band stuff, not
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I also want to get to this Dionne Warwick tune because for various reasons, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a tune from a record by J.C. Sanford, who plays trombone in this record and did both the tunes on the second side of this record, Modern Flora, that we were talking about from Dylan Hicks and Small Screens.
Yeah.
They were both arranged by J.C., and he was really fun to work with. I kind of sent him these drafts, and then he really clarified them and then also brought in all of his own material. He's so sophisticated, just like Zach and Chris were with all those arrangements. And so I wanted to get a sense of what he does on his own in that way. This was a record when he was living in New York. It's called Views from the Inside. And you get to hear his composing, arranging, and his soloing on trombone on this record called Robinson Snow.
Okay. J.C. Sanford.
Yep.
It's here on the Jazz Impulse on Jazz 88.
Programming on Jazz 88 is supported by the 25th Annual Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival on Labor Day Monday, September 2nd. This free-of-charge event is from 1 to 7 p.m. at the Minnehaha Falls Regional Park Bandstand in Minneapolis. Performers include Pete's Pool Hall, Corpse Reviver, Gentleman Dreadnought, King Wilkie's Dream, Papa John and the Popettes, and Nicole Christensen. Supported by local businesses and the Minnesota Bluegrass and Old Time Music Association. Search online, Laughing Waters Bluegrass Festival, or on Facebook.
Traffic reports with context and substance. Traffic reports that actually help you drive safer and more efficiently. That's what Jazz 88 gives you. Join me, Bob Urich, and our team of experienced broadcasters as we report traffic on the 10s during rush hour. We're live, embedded at MnDOT's Freeway Nerve Center, in the same room as the State Patrol dispatchers. And because we're there, we can share more detailed information before the other stations and cell phone apps. For fast and accurate information in drive times, it's Jazz 88 Traffic.
The Jazz Impulse with weekly host Danny Sigelman traverses the sonic landscape that is the soundtrack to your Saturday night.
Why they can put the competition to bed without supper.
On Jazz 88.
You're listening to Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse tonight. Kind of a chill mood. You know, maybe it's because of the Twins lost. I don't know.
I listen to a lot of pretty chill music.
Yeah. Hey, you're a chill dude.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
No, I'm digging it.
That's why I'm able to take a half dose of Ativan.
There you go. I appreciate it. No, Maria Schneider. I can't say I'm hip to her.
So but she was born here in Minnesota, tiny town, Wisdom, I think, Minnesota, and but I would say that this record came out 30 years ago now. Evanescence. It was a big breakthrough record for her. I bought this record at that time. And that's 30 years ago. I would say she is the premier conductor, arranger, composer for large jazz ensembles who's really kind of, you know, someone might dispute that, but certainly probably the most influential of the past 3 decades or so. And I'm sure that everybody who's working since then will have to confront her work in one way or another. And I think she's fantastic. That tune we heard is a great showcase for a tenor saxophonist named Rich Perry, who's one of the great heroes of Brian Murray, who's in the group that we'll be playing with at the Parkway. He's himself an excellent saxophonist, and he knows Rich a bit, but also is just loves his work. Also, Ben Monder. We were talking about Ben Monder. He's in the Bad Plus. Ben Monder, 30 years ago, Ben Monder was in this ensemble. Lots of other great people.
Yeah, it's a huge band on that record.
Band,
Gonna have to dive into that. Maria Schneider's work a bit more.
Corpus, yeah.
J.C. Sanford before that did Robins and Snow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. He's got some great small group records too. He's been in Minnesota for quite a while now. Yeah, so I thought while we're in this mode of playing some kind of large ensembles, kind of contemporary big bands in the jazz realm, we play one from this record called Dynamic Maximum Tension. It's by Darcy James Argue's Secret Society.
Yeah.
It feels like there's about a decade gap between the two records of his that I have, at least. And amazing record, a double album. And this is a tune that I thought would kind of work because we're talking about, like I was saying before, more of a pop guy, kind of flirting with collaborating with some jazz people.
Yeah.
This is a jazz person nodding at one of the great rock bands, The Band. So this is called Last Waltz for Levon.
Very cool. It's here on Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse.
I just don't know what to do with myself. Don't know just what to do with myself. I'm so used to doing everything with you, planning everything for two. And now that we're through, I just don't know what to do with my time. I'm so lonesome for you, it's a crime. Going to a movie only makes me sad. Parties make me feel as bad when I'm not with you. I just don't know what to do. Like a summer rose needs the sun and the rain. I need your sweet love to ease all the pain. I just don't know what to do with myself. I don't know just what to do with myself. Oh, baby, if you knew love ever turned you down, come on back. I will be around, just waiting for you. I don't know what else to do. Like a summer rose needs the sun and the rain. I need your sweet love to ease. I need your sweet love to ease all the pain.
Jazz88, the Jazz Impulse tonight. That's a good way to wrap up, I think. A little Dionne Warwick, man. Reminds me of my mom. She loved Dionne Warwick.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. We always had all those records.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Walk On By especially. Probably
And
one
I'm
of
sure
my
you're
favorites.
a fan of the Isaac Hayes rendition of Walk On
Oh,
By,
yeah,
too.
of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's a Backrack David tune and one of my favorite records. I love all those Warwick records when they were collaborating. And I wanted to play it, too, because Elaine Burt plays trumpet on this record. And it was really fun to write, for me to write some pretty simple kind of pop melodies the trumpet was going to take over.
Yeah.
Because that's so much of those Backrack David records and the Warwick records is like just some simple trumpet line.
I think it really defined the era even. That kind of became a trend, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially like, the Nancy Sinatra records and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool. Gil Evans did a version of Angel. That's a fun... I just love this era, Gil Evans, kind of the later period stuff. He did a whole record of Jimi Hendrix tunes.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix record. And the soloist, the alto saxophones, blowing his tail off on that is a young David Sanborn.
That's right.
Just deceased David Sanborn.
Yeah, rest in
This is
power.
kind of before he was a noted session person. That was one of his first gigs.
I worked with David Sanborn one time when he came through the Dakota.
Oh, cool.
When I was working there. Interesting guy. Yeah. And
Friendly, was he?
He was friendly. He had his quirks.
Okay, sure, yeah.
And he's a bit of a germaphobe. I think he had polio.
Yeah, as a child, yeah.
Yeah. And is very sensitive to air. And
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, it was interesting, but he was one of those guys that performs in one of those like plexiglass cubes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I always think that's kind of strange.
Noah Levy told me a funny story.
Yeah.
Anecdote. It wasn't firsthand, but it's a story he knew.
Yeah.
Sanborn was at a session, and the producer said, like, "Hey, can you do something a little bit more like Clarence Clemens?" Which was hot when Springsteen was really hot. Of course,
Right.
Clarence Clemens was the tenor saxophonist, but so David Sanborn apparently said, "Yeah, sure, man." And so said, "Okay, we're rolling," and David Sandberg was gone.
He just left.
He just left. Yeah.
That's great.
He wasn't trying to diss Clarence Clemens. He was just like, "Don't ask me to play like somebody else. I'm already a guy."
He was very kind, and of course, I had to talk to him about Young Americans.
And sounds so great on that
and
record.
also for myself personally, learning about jazz from his TV show Night Music.
Night Music,
Is
Hal
that the
Wilner
90s?
production.
Yeah,
I want to say 89, 90, 91.
Yeah.
There's a community of people around our age now in the first flower of youth for that show is really pivotal.
Yeah,
Ornette Coleman and NRBQ on the same show. Or,
and then they, they'd have Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that's great, and you can maybe kind of find that
They're
stuff
on YouTube a little bit. Yeah,
awesome. Darcy James started the set off. Last Waltz for Levon here on Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse. Signing off, Danny Sigelman with you here tonight, and my special guest, Dylan Hicks. Has been a lot of fun having you down here,
man.
Thanks
so much for having me.
Yeah, we got to do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Love to have you in. So good luck with the new record, Dylan Hicks and Small Screens. It's called Modern Flora, the release show a week from tomorrow, Sunday the 8th.
That's right. Yeah.
At the Parkway
Pretty
Theater.
early, 7, I think.
Yeah. It's a good night.
Play 2 sets, but there won't be long sets.
I like the Parkway's great. You played there before.
Yeah. Played there a couple of times, once with myself and once as a side person with Lucy Michelle.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Dylan. We're going to leave with a Gene Ammons tune.
This is a beautiful ballad. Gene Ammons, great tenor saxophonist.
Awesome. Have a great night. We'll see you next week here on the Jazz Impulse.
The Jazz 88 business